disclosure, sometimes conferences do have too many steps.
Alayna, you mentioned ICE experience
Yes.
and Dark Matter Horizon, lots of engagement with clients and with partners, lots of time on the road, more time on the road to come.
Mhm.
Let's talk about LodeStar and SettleWise and what's going on. How has conference season been treating you?
It's honestly been really great. I think, this I feel like it's almost come off a little bit differently than years past. One, I just think we're at a point as a brand and as an organization where we do have, this is the first year we've had more of those top 50 clients, right? This is the first year we've had some more of those bigger accounts that are like just huge advocates for us,
Mhm.
right? And they've had a presence because we've had some before that just maybe haven't shown up to conferences.
Right.
They don't send people. And a lot of our bigger clients were there and advocating for us on the show floor. And that's been something really new. And I think it's really cool to see. Right. And I think my favorite thing, honestly, about ICE Experience, and this is true every year,
Mhm.
is it's one of the only shows our CS teams comes to because it is directly engaging with our end user. Right. And to see people's faces light up when they see Jess or they see Annie in person and be like, I want to thank you so much. One of our clients actually stopped and at the airport, they came back to Isaac and myself and said, thank you so much for being, one of our favorite vendors to work
Mhm.
with. Right. And that's just not something you get over email.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's something that's so big is like when we look at numbers from a marketing perspective, right?
Mhm.
I know our support ticket numbers. I know our title agent onboarding timeline, right? We know our accuracy rate. We have all these analytics. But to see the real human impact of that and
Mhm.
how we're improving people's businesses, I think is so powerful. And it's the thing that makes me always so excited to go to these user groups and say,
Mhm.
oh, we actually we don't suck.
We don't suck. No.
We don't suck,
Yeah,
right?
I
shout
think
outs
if
to
anything-
Jessica Alexi and Annie
Yeah.
Jacobs going out on the road.
Yes.
We've also I think actually had like a little bit of an existential like waking up. We used to say like no one cares about fees, right?
Yes.
No one cares about fees unless they're broken, right? And like we actually realized I think that fees are a little more important than we realized in some ways, which is funny coming from the fee provider because it is a
Mhm.
small part of the process. But if you don't get if you're not putting fees on, no mortgage is getting disclosed and the whole process shuts down.
Yeah.
So that's key. So if this isn't working correctly, no mortgages are going out.
Yeah.
Then if it's also working but not working correctly as things go out, the problem that you run into is then you're paying a lot of money on the back end, spending a lot of time on the back end. So while it is a small price point in the mortgage process, it is super important, especially as people are really focused at the pre-application stage of what's going on right now.
Mhm.
Of let's give accurate scenarios to folks. A number of times people talk to us and say, oh, I want to like show accurate scenarios, but like I don't have closing costs, right? Right? Like that can be a $10,000 swing in some cases. And as you know,
Mhm.
the money up front when you're buying a home is very important and very top of mind, especially in that, for first-time home buyers.
Yeah, and I think that's such a piece is like I've been talking with our point of sale partners to really push. We started offering lender fees a few years
Mhm.
ago. And really pushing that into those
Yeah.
integrations and saying, hey, you need to have this because our lenders want it and they're
Mhm.
helping us advocate for this in these other
Mhm.
systems, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's such a big piece, right?
Mhm.
Is if you have fees, right, and you have to update if you're in 40 states, you have a complex fee table
Yeah.
and you have sometimes even two POSs, right?
Yeah.
You need those integrations,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's something that we've been working on. So if you happen to be a client and you want lender fees in your point of sale system, message us.
Yeah.
Because I will use you to help us get these
will.
integrations done faster. Hey, they want it done. We want it
We
done.
like it.
Let's make
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah.
But I think that's such a cool thing. And it's not something I see others in the space doing because to be quite frank, it's a lot of work, right? And like, it's not a huge lift financially for us, right? It's not a huge revenue driver, but really this is making us kind of that
Yeah.
full comprehensive fee package and
Right.
the one space that you can put all of your fees and get
Well, it's
all
in
of your
line with what we
fees.
want to do too, in terms of being that closing cost expert.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's an important part of that. And if we can be kind of the single source of truth for lenders instead of putting those fees in a bunch of different systems, it works for us. So
Yeah.
makes our product very sticky too.
there's that.
Yeah.
And I think too, from the SettleWise side, we were even having those conversations of how can we help,
Yeah.
you know, some of those maybe smaller lenders that don't necessarily have the bandwidth to pay for a fee provider or even onboard and manage another vendor, right?
Or they just don't have the footprint for
They
it.
don't have the footprint for it. Maybe they're lending in one state or they're about to go into their
Yeah.
second state, but they're only going to do, you know, they're a Northeast lender doing one state and they want to add Florida, right? Because snowbirds are a thing. And I think that's really where SettleWise has come in and been able to give us this huge lift of being able to provide these fees to lenders. And honestly, we, you know, rep and warrant it on SettleWise fees. So if you close with us, you get that same LodeStar guarantee. I think it's such a big piece that I think for me before it's easy to get caught up in it and just be like, oh, this is what we do. This is what we do. But like realizing the impact of it for borrowers, I think is such a big, is exciting and cool.
And then even on the title, on the SettleWise side, you know, it makes sales so much easier because our warm leads and SettleWise are people using our tool, quoting our tool. In some cases, people send us an order before we've talked to them, which is great. And then we start the relationship from there. That's not normal, being in title. I was talking to one of our clients today, and they were saying, we're trying to get, you know, have a call with the owner of the company, talk about our relationship. And he had said, oh, he doesn't really like sales calls. I'm like, you're already working with us. We're not selling you anything. You're already using our resource. We're already working with you. So it really breaks down the barrier of how to work with folks. So
Technology making things more personable. Go figure.
Yeah.
If you do it right.
If you do it right, that's really important.
If you do it right and with care.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on from our LodeStar update segment, I have been dying to know, the Wynn in Las Vegas is where ICE Experience is held. Usually. There are many restaurants there, many of them beloved. There was a new one this year. How was it?
So I didn't go to this restaurant, but our team did. I actually had a dinner with a professional colleague that night. And also we were only able to get a 6-top reservation and there were 7 of us. So I took one for the team.
It's great leadership.
You know, so I left them to have fun. But I was told it was absolutely amazing. It was delicious. And I didn't realize that it was on the same like lake as SW. So it had the same show. I did get to experience the show at our team SW dinner. And Isaac and I split a steak with as much chimichurri as they could give us. And they did not give us enough chimichurri the first time. So we did have to ask for more.
There's never enough chimichurri.
There's never enough chimichurri. Although I do think they changed the recipe and it makes me a little sad.
How was it different?
It was more of a red chimichurri instead of a green chimichurri. And I just don't, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It made me sad.
Mortgage conferences, come for the connections, stay for the chimichurri.
I'm a big fan of chimichurri. If there's chimichurri on a menu, I am ordering it. And that's also what I'll say. Also, if you ever get a dinner invite from LodeStar, we're starting this new thing. We do not talk business at dinner. Unless you force us to. If you ask us, we'll do it, but we're never going to start the business conversation with you. But we will ask crazy will you rather questions or would you rather questions. So just note that if you get an email from our sales team.
I think it was LodeStar's Fiona O'Flanagan who started that.
Yeah,
she was
100%.
at a team dinner. I think it was me and Kelsey, and we found out that she has the best questions.
She has great. Yeah,
it's at a high bar for dinner conversation at LodeStar.
So we're taking that on the road because let's be real, no one wants to talk business at dinner.
Occasionally, some of those spill into our Slack conversations.
100%. Yeah.
Remember, if people were chasing you for 24 hours and you had to evade them, and you could only pick one serial mascot that would be 6 feet tall to protect you, who would you pick and why?
Oh.
So we had this conversation a couple weeks ago on Slack.
And I think that's what we're going to leave this segment at.
Yeah.
You need to give us. Yeah. I think I'm going to go Tony the Tiger here.
Yeah, that's a good.
It was a popular choice. Yeah, tell us in the comments wherever you find this, LinkedIn, YouTube. Who would you pick? Serial mascot as a defender. There we go.
We should clip that too for just
just that needs to get clipped. Yeah, 100%.
Thank you for choosing full disclosure. Please like and subscribe.
You.